Let's check out this video, guys. This is a video called Top 3 Most Overpowered Classes in Wrath of the Lich King. I'm gonna take a little bit of a gander here and a guess at what's gonna be on the list here. 100% Paladin. All 3 Paladin specs are so disgustingly broken. They are so OP, man. They're so good, okay? The Holy spec, absolutely crazy, one of the best healers. Retribution Paladin wants to get their 2 set in ICC. Pop off like no other. And the Protection Paladin is ridiculous. Apart from Paladin, probably Death Knight. Death Knight? Probably Death Knight as well. Death Knight is absolutely bonkers, okay? They do a lot of damage. They really pump. Because, let's be honest, it's a hero class. So of course they want to make it like really good, right? The third class, I'm a little bit... I actually don't know what the third class could be. He could actually be putting a rogue on there, because assassination rogues are really strong. But I doubt it. It's probably going to be Warlock, yeah. I could definitely imagine him putting Warlock out there, because I think Affliction Warlocks absolutely pop off like crazy. But regardless though, let's look at the video, guys. Let's see what it's going to be all about. Here it is. Top 3 most overpowered classes at Wrath.
The top 3 most
I'm gonna go up here so you guys can see his face.
Overpowered classes in Wrath of the Lich King. But first, we are doing a special Wrath of the Lich King beta key giveaway soon.
Wow!
So if you want to be entered for a chance to win, make sure you like this video and you are subscribed to the channel for when we start giving them away to subscribers only.
A beta giveaway!
Now, in no particular order.
I'll link the video once we're done watching it. Why don't I have one of those, yeah?
The most powerful classes in Wrath of the Lich King is the Paladin, especially the Prot Paladin. Now, compared to a Prot Warrior, the Prot Paladin is like a power drill, and a Prot Warrior is like a screwdriver. And I got some props here just in case you don't know which is which. So, with a screwdriver, you know, it takes a lot of effort to screw something in, and it takes such a long time. But when you play a Paladin...
But to be fair, it can feel very rewarding when you're screwing with a screwdriver and you finally screw it fully in, okay? So there is some reward with using a screwdriver sometimes, okay?
Paladin, you know, it's kind of just like... And boom, it's done. Quick and easy. And the thing is like, they both get the job done. Yeah. But one is going to be much easier.
That's true.
All right, so I'm going to put these,
That's a good analogy.
down now. But just trying to explain that when you play a Prot Paladin, it's going to be easier. It's going to be quicker. You're going to be better, right? Both can fulfill the role. One will do it better. So Prot Paladin, very, very overpowered. But I would say Wrath is definitely one of the most balanced expansions. Yeah, you know,
that's true.
This is broken video about every class.
That is true. Like overall Wrath, most specs actually most classes do pretty well, and most specs actually can perform pretty decently compared to vanilla, where it's like warrior, rogue, and a few mages, and TBC, where it's like still warriors and rogue. Okay, if there was more rogues in the raids, they would be performing good. Trust me. But it's mainly warriors, you know, hunters and warlocks and mages. It gets more and more balanced actually as the patches and as the expansions go on. And Wrath is actually very, very balanced. So yeah, it's actually not. That's actually true. Yeah.
Class, because
tricking each other. Yeah, you know, listen, boys, if there's anyone out there playing a rogue out there in Wrath and want to tricks and to trade me, I'll tricks and to trade on you. You know, we'll do it on each other, and we get the buff, both of us. All I'm saying, dude, that's gonna be good.
Each class has a spec and a time and a place where, yes, it truly is broken. Paladin just so happens to have the most specs, times, and places where it's broken.
All 3.
With abilities like Sacred Shield, Beacon of Light, and so many other broken abilities. You know, Paladins are just decked out. You know, Holy Paladin tops the healing meters in PvE. It's the most mana efficient. And it also just happens to be a really, really great PvP healer too.
This is overall.
Prot Paladin, like we discussed earlier, is really one of the best tanks, able to easily hold threat in an AoE setting. You don't run out of mana because of Divine Plea never, you know, going away.
Ridiculous, man.
Ability. And if they take fatal damage, they just come back to life. Amazing. It's so awesome. That even has its time to shine in PvE, being S tier.
I think Red only... Red is sort of the same as Warrior a little bit, where when ICC comes out, they just absolutely pop off when they have like the gear and everything, right? It doesn't mean that they're bad before ICC, but I think ICC is when they really start to shine, right?
Iceground, Citadel raids and beyond once they have the gear. And really, overall, Paladin just shines as one of the most overpowered classes in Wrath in pretty much most situations.
Yeah, you need your 2-set bonus from ICC, yeah.
So with Paladin out of the way, you're probably wondering, what could the other two possibly be? I feel like the Paladin one is pretty straightforward. We all kind of know at this point, Paladin's the Wrath of the Lich King expansion where they're the best, but number 2, in my opinion, is Death Knight.
Yeah.
Now, in Wrath, we'll be getting Wrath Classic. We'll be getting balance patch 3.3.5.
We're not going to get the extremely broken, disgustingly overpowered Death Knight that we had at launch of Wrath, but they're still really, really good.
Which means Death Knights will not be as strong as they were on release or through many of the,
It would honestly, I know this is like a little bit cynical, a little bit sadistic, but it would be kind of fun getting like the like completely broken Wrath Death Knight, at least for like a few weeks, right? They were so strong, man. It is like you can't even understand, dude. They were crazy, man. They so much damage. They have so much sustain. They had like a thing when they died, they would get resurrected as a ghoul and literally like have another life every single time. It was so OP.
Initial patches, but they are still an exceptional class in many regards, and I want to talk about some things most people miss about the Death Knight.
Puggy.
Now, Blood Tanks, which is the best tanking specialization for raiding in patch 3.3.5, actually can do things that no other tank can do, and that is hold high amounts of threat from a range. Now, Icy Touch is the most powerful single threat generation ability in the game, and it also happens to be a ranged ability. Now, in raid fights where the tank needs to kite, there are quite a few...
Wait, why is that on my face? The follower thing. I'm gonna put it up here.
But in particular, for an example, like against Professor Putricide, you have to tank out of the goo, out of the choking gas bombs, among other situations, and no other tank can actually hold aggro at a range as well as a Death Knight. They usually have to get in melee range.
Icy Touch spam and then like Death Coil, right? Yeah.
To use an ability. So Death Knights have that over other tanks. No one else really has that. And not only that...
Hold on, I can look at that in a sec, ABT.
But Death Knights have the ability to instantly reposition monsters with Death Grip. I mean, no other tank can instantly do that with Death Grip. This is helpful against bosses like Algalon the Observer, where you need to drag the living constellation.
Okay, I was a kid when Wrath was out, right? I never got to do Algalon the Observer. I always thought it was something like, dude, if you could manage to defeat Algalon, dude, those skills must be so cool, man. I bet they're jacked 6'4", like extreme Giga Chat IRL, man. I was that one that was like, dude, whenever there was that RP in Dalaran with like, observe this guy, right? I was like, what? Somebody actually defeated Algalon? I could not imagine ever doing that, right? I was a kid. I killed the Lich King on normal. I did most of Ulduar. I got up to like the Deconstructor. No. That's the first. That's like the second boss. I got up to Mimeron. But I never got to kill Algalon and stuff like that, you know? Absolutely insane. Look at all the buffs he has, though.
Into the black holes. But besides having great utility...
I played on the Maelstrom back in the day. The Maelstrom.
They're also just super tanky. They have tons of self-heals. You know, I don't think there's a single tank class that has more self-heals than a Death Knight. They got tons of damage mitigation talents and abilities. I mean, Death Knights are just excellent tanks in PvE. When it comes to PvP, Death Knights are not joking around either. They are required in many top teams. Paladin,
and they're so good for like casters because they have anti-magic shield. They can spawn that big bubble as well.
Death Knight, also known as TSG. You could also run Paladin Hunter Death Knight, PhD. And these are two team comps that are gladiator tier. Now, the Unholy Death Knight is equipped with a Ghoul Stun. They've got Mind Freeze to interrupt spells. In melee range, they got the Ranged Silence. They also have that Death Grip again. They can use that to interrupt spells.
Death Knight is just good. Like, it's just a good class, man. Right? I made a Death Knight back in the day, and listen, guys, don't flame me for this, okay? I made a Death Knight called Archerus, okay? Because I thought it sounded really cool, and I thought it was a sick name for a Death Knight, okay? I played a Night Elf male Death Knight called Archerus, okay? And it was really cool, alright? It was very sick. I popped off, man, okay?
I mean, overall, Death Knights have the tools to get kills in arena, and not only that, but they also have really good damage mitigation too. Anti-magic shell, icebound fortitude, anti-magic zone can actually really help your teammates. And let's not forget their amazing snares. Snares are critically important in PvP. I'm sure you all know that. They've got a ranged snare.
Chains of Ice, isn't that what it's called? That like extreme slow that they have. Oh my god.
Chains of Ice, which is a 90% freaking move speed reduction at range, and also a huge melee AoE one called Desecration.
That is so dumb. And 90% slow. Crippling Poison, I think, is 70%, right? Is Crippling Poison 70%? And that's a lot. Like, when you get Crippling Poison, you're like, ugh. But Icy Chains, you can't even move. But it does fall off pretty fast, right? Like the slow effect.
Where these skeleton arms are grabbing people, slowing them down by 50% in an AoE. It's amazing. Overall, Unholy Death Knights in particular are just absolutely amazing in PvP. But not just PvP. Because when it comes to PvE, both Unholy and Frost are actually very viable and powerful PvE specializations with talents like Wandering.
I'm definitely going to make a Death Knight for Wrath of the Lich King, guys. I don't know if I'm going to main one, but I will definitely have one. I want to have a Death Knight at least.
Plague for Unholy, this makes them monsters when it comes to AoE. There's also Ebon Plague Bringer, which gives the whole raid a 13% increased spell damage bonus against target with your diseases on them. Overall, Death Knights just have a lot to offer to a raid. I mean, not just Unholy. Look at Frost with improved Icy Talons, giving the entire raid 20% increased melee haste. And then if you're a blood tank, you also bring the raid 10% increased attack power. So pretty insane. I would say, you know, being amazing in both PvP and PvE makes Death Knights one of the most overpowered classes in Wrath, because not all classes and specs are good in both, and Death Knights have that. So
yeah, the Shamans, taking the Shaman's job. Shamans will definitely be a lot less useful than they are in TBC. Like right now in TBC, you want at the very least 4 Shamans per raid, right? At the very least, like 1 for each DPS group, even one extra for the caster, or like for the healer group as well, right? But in Wrath, I mean, you can be fine just with 1 Shaman. That's pretty much it, right? Because you get totems, and that's it.
Give yourself an edge over other players and play the overpowered Death Knight. All right, now you might be wondering, what is that third class? Now, guys, honestly...
Okay, I think I agree with you guys. I think it's probably going to be Warlock. I think he's going to say Warlock.
It's very difficult because, once again, it's a very balanced expansion. But I have to admit, you know, in the most scenarios where a class is going to be overpowered in both PvP and PvE, I can only choose one class.
Okay.
And it's because they're in multiple team compositions that can achieve Gladiator ranking, again, in more than just...
Anyone can achieve Gladiator if you're good enough. It doesn't matter the spec.
One spec, and because of this, the third most overpowered class in Wrath is the Warlock. Affliction Warlocks are one of the most consistently overpowered and powerful DPS classes in Wrath of the Lich King in PvE, dealing exceptional damage throughout.
I'm not a big fan of Warlocks, guys. I won't lie. I hate the rotten dot play style. I'm not a big fan of pits in WoW.
Each raid tier,
I don't like
Warlocks, a lot of that is due to the completely reworked talents, which optimize...
Rotten dot, more like rotten snot. Yeah, guys.
Is the Affliction Warlock for damage and less about utility, which was the case in Burning Crusade. You'll notice that Warlocks do a lot of execute damage.
Oh, they had that though. That thing, as much as I say I hate Warlocks, this thing almost made me want to reroll a Warlock in Wrath. It almost made me want to reroll just so I can turn into this. This was so cool.
That Warlocks do a lot of execute damage. They also have excellent raid-wide buffs, which can provide a raid, which they can provide to a raid in all 3 of their specializations, whether that's improved health improved Fell Hunter in the Affliction tree, whether it's Demonic Pact in the Demonology tree, or improved Soul Leech in the Destruction tree. Warlock.
Yeah, I agree with you, Rujiji. I think forms are boring. That's also a big reason why I'm not a big fan of druids, because I don't like being a bear. I don't want to be like a cat. I want to be my character. But I do like it when you can, like, you know, you have like a cooldown and then you go like crazy mode for like 30 seconds. You get like a big, you turn into like a demon, right? That's pretty cool. I like that.
Are absolute beasts in PvE and Wrath of the Lich King. But when it comes to PvP, Warlocks have also changed a lot. The Demonology, once again, is still not super great in PvP, but Affliction is still super great for PvP. But Destruction is really what has changed a lot in Wrath, and is really a beastly good PvP spec. Okay. Now, in TBC, that wasn't really the case.
Oh, that was back when Drake Dog became really popular too, right? That was in Wrath. Yeah, that was TBC and Wrath, where Drake Dog made a lot of like
LSL was the way to go,
videos.
But now in Wrath, Destro Warlocks are amazing in PvP, paired with a high damage spellcaster like an Elemental Shaman, and these two can blow up a target in mere seconds.
Daily Shamans are sick in Wrath. It makes me want to kind of play Badouche, you know, like a Shaman in Wrath, right? Just to get play Illy and just like pop off, man. Oh.
Not only that, but RLS, which is Roguelock Shaman.
Illy Shaman is sick in Wrath. It's actually sick.
Another gladiator tier arena comp that Warlocks can join and dominate.
Illy is S tier, yeah.
There's also cool new abilities too that Warlocks have with their demonic teleporter and chaos.
Also, I'm not even talking about what he's talking about right now, guys. I'm so sorry. I'm just thinking about Illy Shamans. It's also, you have the thing where you can just slap down 4 totems at a time, man. Oh my god. So many more key bindings you don't have to worry about.
Bolt going through absorption effects. Warlocks truly do have everything that they need to tear it up in PvP. And since Warlocks do so well in both PvP and PvE, that lands them on the most overpowered classes list. And to be honest, once again, it was super hard to choose just 3 classes because honestly, all the classes have a time and place where they are completely broken, but these are my top 3 pick. Now, it might be easy to decide, well, I'll just play one of these 3 overpowered classes, but why not play something that is both overpowered and fun? Check out the video above my head, which explains the top 5 most fun classes to play in Wrath of the Lich King Classic. I will see you there.
At the end,
today we're going to be talking.
At the end of the day, guys, the most important thing is that you play a character you find fun, you play a class you find enjoyable, because they're all really good at the end of the day. There's no classes that are really bad. There's no one that like sucks or anything like that. You can get you can get by with both classes. Play whatever you find enjoyable. Play whatever you find fun, and trust me, you're gonna be a lot more happy in that regard, right? I'll link the video in the chat, guys. If you guys want to check it out, there it is. Go check out Toy House. He made some pretty nice video there, a little informational video there for the boys.